Hi, welcome to the Body Shop Physical Therapy. I'm Dr. Catherine Price. I'm a physical therapist, and in this video, I'm going to go over trigger point release of the piriformis muscle. So the piriformis muscle is one of the muscles, one of the rotators of the hip. There is multiple hip rotator muscles, and this is going to be the one that is up on the higher area. I'm going to go over origin insertion, how to locate it, and how to release trigger points in that muscle. So first, how they can develop. It's going to stabilize the hip. So if you have a foot or a leg that is going to be your stabilizing leg and the foot is turned out, it's going to engage that muscle to externally rotate the leg. So if you're looking at my feet, and let's say that this is my stabilizing foot that I stand on and I've got that external rotation, it's going to engage the piriformis muscle on that side. So if you stand on one leg and it externally rotate or turn that foot out, that is going to engage that external rotator, and that can end up developing trigger points if it stays contracted for any length of time. If you are walking for long periods, or if you sit for long periods or stand still for long periods and this muscle is engaged, because we do have a natural toe out, that can result in developing trigger points in that muscle. And then the pain that can occur is going to be close to the sacroiliac region, so close to the bottom part below the low back, but in that sacral region just out to the side, you can get pain there, and you can also get some diffuse pain in that area on the side of the hip. So this can cause pain in the buttocks area, towards the side, or close to the SI region. So the piriformis is attached in the front of the sacrum, so you've got a triangular shaped bone at the very bottom of the spine. So the bottom of the spine, I'm going to have my triangular shaped bone, and the muscle is attached to the front of that. So it's going to be on the front, and then it attaches out into the greater trochanter, which is the bony prominence that sticks out on the side of the hip. So that's where my piriformis goes, from the upper portion on the front side of that sacrum to the greater trochanter. So what I do to locate it, and it's kind of the top rotator in that fan shape. So I've got multiple external rotators here in my hip, and it's going to be the one that's on the upper portion. So if I find that bony prominence on the back side of the low back, that's my PSIS, my posterior superior iliac spine. It's a bony prominence. If I go down just a little bit and then kind of to the side, that's going to be where my location of the muscle is going to start, and I'll investigate that down into the line where it attaches into the greater trochanter, and it's going to be under the glute max. So I'm going to work my way there. I will use, to get a little bit of localized pinpoint pressure, I'm going to use a single lacrosse ball. So I've got my location, that bony prominence, and then my greater trochanter. I'm going to follow that line. So I'm just going to follow that line right down, place my single lacrosse ball there. I'll go into the one to my side, and I'm going to apply pressure there. I can have my leg extended, or I can bend it. So I am just going to go through it, and you can kind of feel going over bands that are tense. So kind of like guitar strings. If I am going to go up about a half an inch and then down a half an inch, and I'm just going to investigate if there is any tender areas or tension, and I'll hold on that for about 20 seconds and then work on this area for up to 2 minutes. So this is my trigger point release of the piriformis muscle. And again, this can provoke pain on the outside of the hip or right next to that sacroiliac joint around that area. So this is going to be the release of the piriformis. Once I have released the trigger points and the tension that is through that area, I will then stretch it. So I'm here working my way towards the trochanter, which is the outer bony portion, and also investigating trigger points along that area on my piriformis. And once you just find areas that are tender, just hold and let those trigger points reduce in their tenderness. So they should start to reduce. It may take some time depending on how long they've been contracted and the extent to how quickly they will let go, so to speak. So that's going to be my release of the piriformis. Once I have released it, I will lie onto my back, and it's an external rotator. So I'm going to then take my leg and I'm going to rotate, pushing that knee down towards the floor until I feel a stretch here on the upper part of my buttocks. So I'm looking for the stretch in the upper part of my buttocks here. And I'll just hold that and stretch that area. After I have stretched it, to strengthen that, it will abduct the hip, so it'll bring the hip out to the side when the hip is at a 90-degree angle, so a 90-degree flexion. So I'm here at 90 degrees. If I shift my weight over to the opposite leg and lift my leg out, it'll activate that muscle, and I can strengthen it that way. And I only want to strengthen here if I have no pain. I can add resistance, but that is going to be how I get at releasing the piriformis, stretching it, and then strengthening it. And it's very localized, so I like to use a single lacrosse ball when I'm trying to pinpoint and just localize those areas. So that's one way. There's other ways that you can go through and start with a broader surface area if it's really tender, but it's one way that you can address the piriformis muscle. I hope this is of help, and have a blessed day. Thank you.